You know that feeling when you're just doing something and time just flies by and suddenly several hours have passed and you're like, how did that happen? Well, it turns out that you were probably in a state of flow. Flow is our keyword this week. A state of flow means that you're fully focused and engaged in an activity. You're in the zone. This theory was developed by psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Yes, I can't believe I pronounced that right. Okay, I did Google it. Anyhow, Csikszentmihalyi discovered that we can experience flow when we're involved in an activity that is so enjoyable that we just want to continue doing it, even if we find it quite challenging. According to Csikszentmihalyi, we can experience flow when the task has an appropriate level of challenge, so not too easy but not too hard. When we're able to focus all of our effort and attention on the task, when we know what we're doing and why, when the time that we spend on this task seems effortless, and when we feel a sense of autonomy over our actions. In the classroom, when we provide activities that foster flow, this can make learning much more enjoyable for students. It increases intrinsic motivation and it can even encourage a lifelong love of learning. Flow can have a big impact on learner independence, as students will want to carry on with what they're doing, and vice versa. When students have autonomy over what they do, it's more likely that they will attain flow. So, how can we foster it? Firstly, we can provide opportunities for students to explore the topic that we're teaching through materials that they're interested in. We can use different types of materials such as books, videos, games, and hands-on activities to spark curiosity and engagement. Second, we can offer students autonomy and choice in selecting activities and deciding how to carry them out. When students have a say in what they learn and how they learn it, they're more likely to feel invested and engaged in the process. Third, we can design tasks and activities that offer an appropriate level of challenge for students. When we get this right, they'll feel a sense of accomplishment and success as they progress and they complete the tasks. And fourth, we need to provide constructive feedback and opportunities for reflection to help students see what and how they're learning. Encourage students to celebrate their successes when they do things well and to learn from their mistakes along the way. Now, in this series, we've been gradually introducing inquiry type activities in order to foster learner independence. Learners may experience flow during different stages of the inquiry process. When they're deeply engaged in exploring topics that interest them, they can enter a state of flow where they're fully absorbed in this learning experience. During this state, students are intrinsically motivated, they're focused, and they're experiencing a sense of enjoyment and fulfillment. As we invite learners to formulate their own questions on topics that interest them, and then we give students the tools and resources to find answers to these questions, which is what we do in inquiry-based learning, we're providing the right conditions for flow to emerge. At the beginning of the series, we looked at learning more about our students and identifying their interests. If you like, go back and watch video 3. Let's focus on this again in a bit more detail. Our aim with this activity is to help students identify topics of interest that we can use to plan inquiry-based projects or lessons that will truly engage our learners. Have students brainstorm a list of topics or subjects that they are curious about and interested in learning more about. You could give them some paper and some coloured pens and time to write or draw about the things they're interested in. Then you could give students an interest inventory worksheet or graphic organizer where students can record their top 3 interests, and with older learners they could also add reasons why they find each topic intriguing. This could also be done as a class poster. Invite students to share their interests and their reasons for choosing them. This could be a whole class discussion, or students could share their ideas in groups. Together, choose one of the topics. So look at the most popular ones and then have a vote. When the class has chosen a topic, guide students in brainstorming potential inquiry questions that they'd like to explore. Finally, you can use this information to plan a lesson or a series of lessons on the topic. Remember to plan for choice. Remember to include some hands-on or experiential activities where possible, and make sure that the content is both relevant to students and at the right level of challenge. Now for this week's tips. Yes, I have 2 this week. When students are in a state of flow, it's important not to interrupt or disrupt their focus. Allow students the time and space they need to fully immerse themselves in the activities, even if it means deviating from your lesson plan. Cutting an activity short when students are in flow state can have the opposite effect to what we want, and it can be really demotivating and even upsetting for some learners. You can always rethink your plan for future lessons. The second tip is to ask your students to remember a time when they were in flow, when they were so immersed in something that time stood still for them. Perhaps it was a book that they couldn't put down, or a video game, or maybe a construction activity or something like that. Discuss this topic as a class and have students draw a picture of the activity. This is another way of helping your students identify what can provoke a flow state for them, enabling them to share their ideas with you that you can then try to reproduce in the classroom. So, when was the last time that you experienced flow? Let me know in the comments below.